Where? It's the body of Catherine Eddowes. As the killer hinted, she died earlier than history told us. I can't read her thoughts in the commotion. The wounds were made by the same killer, but there are more of them. The brutality is showing more arrogance. Only the ring was removed, probably as a trophy. There are scents on the killer I can't identify. Not quite medicinal. Edward Doze. Ed Doze. Eddowes. Who's Drake? The murders that took place in London's East End and now in Cicero are subsets of longer killing sprees. Drake was never listed by slasher experts. The history books say that Mary Jane Kelly was the final victim of the East End slasher. Supposedly the killing stopped after her. This could be my last chance. Catherine Eddowes was number 16? That means there were 12 murders before the killer set up shop on the East End. The killer knows all the listings for Kelly in this city can't be protected even with the aid of neighborhood watch groups. Mary Jane Kelly was the last victim of the East End slasher of 1888. Staking out the apartment of the Mary Jane Kelly of my time is the most logical place for me to be. Even if this Kelly isn't the target, the killer knows this is where I would set up camp. I'm not pursuing someone who flew over that fence. This barrel can be moved around and set up directly under that fire escape. Pigeon. This is the same snake oil herbal remedy that I found in Annie Chapman's room in 1888. That alarm is covering up any noises made by the person I'm chasing. I have to find the key to turn it off. If the killer is still playing cat and mouse with me, I must be the last victim, not Kelly. There has to be 20 names to collect. A lot of the names are Irish or Scottish descent. The East End slasher may have prowled areas other than London with large heritage populations, like Ireland or New York. The car was... That manhole cover was put on in a hurry. Somehow the killer scurried under the car and went down. I've got all 20 names. This'll keep the station and DA busy. Northbound. A plague just got away. Michael. Kelly, of course. His name wasn't on the police watch list. Someone knew his timetable from another neighborhood. There was no struggle, But how do you sneak up on someone in here? He was killed by someone he knew, or trusted, or didn't perceive as a threat. Someone posing as a workman, a police officer, a doctor. What? You are Mary Jane Kelly, who history says was the last victim of the East End slasher. And you are in pain, wandering. The killer took his time. He spoke to you. Someone will pay a price on November 30th. The killer is an American. He did not say the date in an Englishman's order with the day first. If an American with a little money stayed in the East End for 4 months, they needed to stay in a lodge. The killer took her ring and 2 pieces to her dress. She wants them back before she can rest. This is the only letter from America. It is addressed to Mr. Francis J. Tumblety, who rather fancies himself to be a doctor. Your handwriting looks very familiar, boss. I see you use an alias. On one note, you signed as Francis Tumblety. The other is Frank Townsend. Tumblety is dressed like a man whose ego is out of control. His mustache would leave a trail of loose hairs. With all the other related bottles in this room, I'd say this is the source. Annie Chapman got her snake oil from this quack Francis Tumblety. The killer took her ring and 2... The killer took her ring... I did the right thing. Now that Mary knows about Tumblety, she wants me to catch him. She is giving me the dress pieces I found, as well as a third the killer tried to get. I'm going back to Tumblety's room and see how they fit that quilt. This statement always bothered me. It feels like a riddle. I know that Francis Tumblety of the past hated John Druitt for taking some of his spotlight. I suspect nothing has changed in the present, even more since this Druitt is a licensed doctor. In a fit of anger, part of the plan was revealed. Druitt, not Kelly, is going to die by the river. It has to happen. I can remove those ropes one at a time. If I get the right sequence, I'll knock the tarp off all 4 hooks and capture the killer. Frances Townsend, I presume. A direct descendant of Frances Tumblety. She kept the alias he used when fleeing the East End to live in New York and Missouri. The murder weapon. The killer won't be able to slash away to freedom this time. I don't need to wait a while longer. I have the murder weapon and I have you, boss.